is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to y'all another quick video on Dillon Brooks and Iguodala. Dillon Brooks signed an extension with the Memphis Grizzlies, a guy that they happy that he stuck up for Memphis. He want to play in Memphis, and he has been spectacular, a guy that has been a bright spot in this young Memphis team as they make a playoff push. He has improved his game this season, and he has been rewarded with a $35 million extension with the Grizzlies. And it's 3 years that he will get that money. Brooks was a second-round pick out of Oregon in 2017. Brooks is averaging 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in 50 games while shooting 40% from 3, which is very, very important nowadays in the NBA because the three-point shot is so prevalent. But you look at the growth for Dillon Brooks. He came in shooting bricks, really couldn't get his flow going, really couldn't get his shot going consistently. In October, he shot 39% from the field. Even though he did shoot 43% from 3 that month, he only gave you 10 points per game in 27 minutes, which isn't terrible, but you see the growth and improvement as the season continues. Because in November, 38% from the field, 35 from 3, 13 points per game in 27 minutes. Still not what you would want out of a player that you're going to rely on, and you really need to be a secondary ball handler and scorer alongside Ja Morant. And in December, things started to change for him. 42% from the field, 35% from the field. From the three-point line, 85% from the free throw line, and 15 points. He took a big leap in January, 29 minutes, 45 from the field, 45 from 3. 86 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 20 points per game in the month of January, which really sparked their winning record to help them get the 8th seed in the playoffs in the Western Conference. And Dillon Brooks is a big part of that. A lot of people didn't like him just because he took a lot of tough shots that he couldn't consistently make. But the guy really loves playing basketball. He's a legit 6'7", 225. He's only 24 years old, so even after the deal, he still is going to be very, very young. And he just turned 24 in January 22nd, so it's not like he's going to be turning 25 anytime soon. And you're seeing a lot of progress and growth with him and Ja Morant being ball handlers and scorers, especially in the isolation. And with his ability to shoot threes the way he does, really spaces out the floor for Jaren Jackson and Ja Morant to do their thing inside, but it also helps Jonas Valanciunas being able to operate in that paint and really being able to post up and get his quick shots off without really being able to be double teamed, because they all are significantly improved and consistent three-point shooters so far. But Dillon Brooks, this is a guy that hasn't averaged less than 35% from 3 the last 3 seasons of the 3 seasons of his career. He shot 35 or higher all seasons, and this year he's shooting a career high 39% from 3, and he's averaging a career high 16 points per game. And like I said, you see the growth, you see the camaraderie and the development in a guy like Dillon Brooks, and that's why you got to reward the man with the contract that he got. And it really helps them too, because they was able to pick up Josh Jackson, who really can be a two-way player for them if he can continue to develop. They also picked up Justise Winslow, who I want to talk about in this video too, a guy that has had potential. A lot of people felt like he was a steal of the draft by Miami, but never could really keep it going or get it going. He showed a lot of versatility. He showed a lot of upside. But Justise Winslow just has had a disappointing career so far in the NBA. He has so many bright spots a couple seasons ago where he's shown that he can be a point forward. He's a legitimate 6'6", so he can play the 2 also and defend the 2-point line. He also is a guy that's only 23 years old, but he will be turning 24. And he is a guy that has averaged double-digit points in multiple seasons. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. He only played 11 games for the Heat this year. He played 18 a couple years ago, which was his sophomore year. He also averaged 12 last year, which is a career high, and he did that in 66 games played. So hasn't really been the best of luck for him, but when he has been playing, he averaged a legitimate 6 rebounds, 5 to 6 rebounds, and also 4 assists, which is showing his versatility as a defender, as a player, as a playmaker, and as a guy that can really be a jack of all trades that you can rely on when healthy to get you quality shots, whether he's playing off the ball, on the ball, or handling the ball. He can really create a lot of chaos on the NBA level. So Justise Winslow was a guy that I was rooting for. I really wanted him to succeed. You know how serious and how smart Miami is, really pushing players to be in peak shape, really working them hard, really pushing them as players, and that's how you seen them develop into a guy that can do multiple things on the basketball court outside of just being a guy that can drive and shoot threes, which he did coming into the league, which he did a lot in summer league, and he also did in Miami. But he was able to become more of a well-rounded player so far in Miami years later. And that's what you want to see. You want to see the growth and the development, like I said, in Dillon Brooks, but you also want to see that in Justise Winslow, who is just as young and a guy that can defend multiple positions. This is a guy that can guard point guards, wings, and some power forwards, depending on what lineups is out there and who the guys out there playing those positions. Because remember, small ball is becoming more and more popular nowadays, and to have guys that can play those type of positions, and even having John Moran and having Jaren Jackson, having Jonas, you have so much versatility and so many weapons at your disposal that they can throw out some unique and creative lineups out there. Plus, one of the positions you really want to have, stacked is wings. Everybody love wings because that's what's winning nowadays, and that's what people really gravitating to. You see in the power forwards and centers out on the perimeter and is opening up the paint. And Justise Winslow is a guy that likes to get to the paint, like I said before, likes to finish, likes to dunk, and can really play make out of that slashing ability. Also can play a little bit off the ball as a corner 3-point shooter and as a guy that can cut and a guy that can get out in transition and get easy opportunities because he is mobile and very, very athletic, and he's been like that since he been in high school. So when I look at Dillon Brooks, I think this is a reward for really being down for the Memphis Grizzlies, really riding for them through the tough times. And even though they didn't think the rebuild would be this successful, they have really built a nice team, a nice culture so far with this Memphis Grizzlies team. And for them to be a team that really started off bad and you really thought would be one of the worst teams in the NBA, and now have really found a way to find a stride, play together, push each other, but also find ways to execute in the fourth quarter to close out these games as a young team that most of these pieces are new or most of these pieces haven't spent a lot of time together on the court in the NBA level. They have really, found their niche. They know what they are, they know their game plan, and they know their personnel and they get the best out of them. And this trade helps get rid of Iguodala, but at the same time, you do get a young prospect that can possibly be a very good difference maker on this team in the future if they decide to keep him and give him an extension, which ain't gonna kill him. I mean, he got his money, but you want to keep a guy like Justice around when you got a young nucleus and core like this. And Iguodala, didn't really want to speak too much about it just because they said that he might get traded and Danilo might be in that trade too. So I'll just talk about it slightly. This is a good pickup for the Heat, mainly because Justise Winslow couldn't stay healthy. He just couldn't do it, and you get a guy like Iguodala that understands how to win, make winning plays, whether it's hitting big shots, even when we seen him strip Damian Lillard, that sealed the game and helped them sweep the Blazers to get back to the finals. This is a guy that's a finals MVP and a champion multiple times over, but the problem is he's older. Um, he still is a solid to great defender, depending on who he's guarding. He's a guy that you want on your team just because he is a winner. He embodies putting in the work, which the Heat loves. He really can get pushed by Butler and other guys on his team. I really want to see if he can improve his shooting. as now he is older and he never really had the great 3-point shooting ability. But if he can hit the three, that can really extend his career as a 3 and D guy that's very physical and can cover a lot of ground and space. And you don't really find a lot of guys that's committed to defense. You don't really find a lot of guys that's willing to defer and a guy that's willing to do whatever the team asks him to do offensively or defensively. And it just gives you another guy that you can throw at more people. You already got Jimmy Butler, who always been known as a solid defender or one of the best defenders at some points of his career. Now you throw up another one in that lineup, and that can make it very ugly and very tough to score, especially if Iguodala can improve his 3-point shooting and his ability to space out the floor when he is on the court, something that Winslow was working on before he kept getting the nagging injuries. But when it comes to this trade, I think it's fair for both teams. Memphis still trying to be young, and Miami has been fine. They got Hero. They got guys like Nunn. They got guys like the Jimmy Butler that can really play those multiple positions as a wing. So they're not really desperate for Iguodala, but he is a guy that's reliable. He's always mostly healthy, and he's a guy that understands how to make big plays. And he has won and really been successful in his career, especially with the Warriors, that's going to rub off on his teammates and that's going to make them more confident. But also, you can depend on him. And in those big moments, that he can be a difference maker, which really can help them against bigger contenders. And we knew that Miami was going to make a move. They wasn't going to stand pat. They all about championships and they all about trying to take advantage of the time. They had a rough retooling period, but now they feel like Jimmy Butler is their guy. They feel like Jimmy Butler can really be that franchise guy, and now they're just giving him more help. And the best help is two-way help, especially at that wing position. And even if Jimmy Butler go down, Iguodala can fit right in and make the passes because he is a good decision maker when it comes to facilitating, and he does keep the ball moving. If he doesn't have a shot, he just doesn't chuck it up. He's willing to make that hockey assist. He's willing to make that assist to a cutter. He's willing to make that assist to another 3-point shooter in his area. And that's what you want to see, ball movement. And he's a guy that can really embody that too. So they got a winner. They got one of the best defenders. They have a guy that has small playmaking abilities and a guy that can really lock down defensively when needed, which is mostly in the playoffs. And you want those wing defenders, and they was able to get one in Iguodala, probably the best one available right now on the market. And now he's gone because the Heat moved up and snagged him. And I didn't see him going to the Heat out of all teams. But once I seen it, like, wow, the Heat got Andre Iguodala, I wouldn't have expected that because they wasn't one of the names that was in that conversation. But it's realistic, and it happened. And now we want to see how good of a shape he's in, and if he's really ready to go and try to go on this championship run with the Miami Heat. But Pat Riley, he really feels something special about this team. He's been saying it for so long, and we're starting to see with the record that they have, how they play together. The guys really buying in offensively and defensively. They stay in the team first season, especially from Jimmy Butler, averaging the assists that he's averaging, only getting 20 points per game. He really has bought into a team concept, and you have to give the culture and the organization a lot of credit for leading by example and expecting greatness out of their players. So this is a move that really gets them that veteran, really gives them that guy that can be a big difference maker. But let me know what you guys think. Did Justise Winslow was it a good pickup for the Grizzlies? Do you think he can play at an All-Star level? Do you think he will just be a role player? Do you think he can even start for this Memphis Grizzlies team in the future? Or do you think Winslow just can't stay healthy? Or do you think this was a steal? Do you think Iguodala got something left in the tank? Was he really worth trading for and giving a 2-year extension on top of that? And can Dillon Brooks be a difference maker consistently? He has struggled with his shots. He has struggled with his mid-range, but he still can knock down that three. And that's an important shot when you got guys like Jaren Jackson on the corner or at the top of the key and you got Morant trying to handle the ball and create some chaos. You want guys that can handle the ball and make a play, but also knock down that three-point shot. And Dillon Brooks has done that. Plus, he's able to handle the ball a little bit and hit floaters and layups too. So he's a versatile scorer. But at the end of the day, this is fun seeing Andre get traded, seeing Justise get traded to a new environment that's really building a young team that's hungry and really out there trying to beat anybody that they can and taking names about it. And they letting people know how they feel. They're keeping it real with the fans. They're keeping it real with us. So I can't really hate on them for that either. But so far, all the trades been fine. I think this gonna help both teams. I think it give them different styles and different looks that they can throw out there. And also, when I look at this Dillon Brooks signing, he wasn't underpaid or overpaid. I think it's a fair deal for him too. So I don't really have much to criticize there. Thanks for liking in advance. I read every comment, so don't feel free to leave a comment. I read all of them, and I do respond. Also, thanks for liking on Facebook. If you didn't like on Facebook, I will leave it in the description and in the comment section below. And continue to buy the merchandise. Continue to support the channel by watching. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm gone.